Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Other World podcast for another week. It's April the 11th or 12th, depending on where you are in the world. And Fiona and I are here to bring you the energies of this week until the 18th.
Welcome.
Hi, Fee.
Hi.
I'm going to start off today. This morning I woke up and I walked down to the ocean, as I often do, because it's not too far from where I am. And the ocean was just pounding on the surf today. It was just incredible, the different energy that the ocean is bringing to this week. And as I sat there, I looked up and the sun was just, it was probably 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. So the sun was up a bit. And the moon is in alignment with the sun at the moment, and we're on the new moon today. So the two, we're in alignment, and just to really feel the embodied experience of feeling the sun on me, knowing that the moon was there, the new moon in Aries, and then watching this rolling tide coming in, and it was coming right up. So the tide's so high right now. And to know that the moon was the body that's affecting those tides. It's an amazing experience, and it seems to be one that I'm having a lot at the moment. Is this the experience of really tuning into the world and the stars and the planets and the moon. So if you do get an opportunity to go outside and really feel how nature has been affected as we change seasons, and as we go into this new moon. And without doubt, the word I was getting as the tide was pounding on the sand was this go energy. Like new moon in Aries is just such a beautiful time for the new beginning. So we've been talking about getting your intentions and what you want to put out into the world and what you love, and really finding the truth in what it is that you want to seed into the world as we change into this new astrological year. And now's the go on all of that. Now's the time to really plant these seeds. We also have Ceres sitting right there on the sun and the moon. And Ceres is Mother Earth, or the goddess of fertility. So you have this beautiful power in the sky right now to take all the seeds of what you want to create and to plant them. And so if you want to do something around that, do it. Or if you just want to speak your intentions. But the new moon energy is the time to really seed the ideas that you have. The other thing that probably over the last year, I've been seeing a lot of herons. And herons, for me, are the energy of active patience. So this was this energy of working behind the scenes without actually going out there with your ideas. Well, today, as I was walking back from the beach, there was 2 herons flying right above me, and their baby heron flying with them, and they were protecting it and swooping. I've never seen a flying heron, let alone 3 with a baby in between them. That was just that feeling of, right, okay, it's time to take flight. The active patience is over. It's time to actually go, to put your foot on the pedal and go. So all those ideas, seeding, and then this week just really stepping out and doing what you need to do to make those things happen, because you've got this beautiful energy helping you right along. I picked a card today, again from the Archetypes deck, Kim Krans, and it's the Judge. Which is a really interesting card, because instantly when I get the Judge, I think of those places of judgment and what we might be needing to turn or to let go of. But actually, when I got the Judge today, I was thinking of the flip side of it, which is the Advocate. So we can go into negativity when we go into our judgment over what everybody out there is doing, or where the world is, or where we are in ourselves. Or we can turn it around and look at it from a point of view of, what can I do to see the change in the world that I want to see? How can I go out there and make a change to in a positive way, rather than looking at the negatives that are happening out in the world. What can I do to be the change? So I think that that's the energy of the moment. It's a looking for the light, looking for the positives, going out and putting momentum behind the ideas that you've maybe been sitting on. And now's the time. If each of us do one small thing towards creating a better world, we will create a better world. We just need to start. We just need to start in our backyards, in our homes, in our villages. And 2021 will be a really big turning point. There is a lot of energies in Aries. As I said at the beginning of the month, there's so much support up in the skies at the moment. So just feel into that. We've got 8 massive bodies helping us with the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Chiron, Ceres, Isis, Persephone. They're all in Aries. So whether or not you know what those bodies are, I don't think it really matters. There's just huge amounts of support for you and what you are here to create in the world. That's it for me today, Fee.
Beautiful. I love that reflection. And I love that you say it doesn't really matter if you don't know what all those things mean for you personally, because I'm one of those people. But it's just the knowing and the feeling of that support is beautiful. So, I think sometimes we can get a little bit caught up in if I don't know, it's not for me. But actually just knowing that support is there can be really helpful to help us transition through these times that we're in. They're really interesting times, and I'm going to go into the numerology around that first of all for this coming week. And we're currently in week 15, so we're working with a lot of 1, 5 and 6 energies this week. So it certainly feels as if these energies are going to come together to create a kind of roller coaster ride through the next few days. And that reflection you had around this go energy, I certainly feel that too, but maybe in just a slightly different way. I mean, there does feel like there's a lot of movement. This energy feels actually almost a little bit chaotic and a little bit unknown. And I'm feeling into with these numbers that we're likely, I think, to swing from one extreme to another emotionally and mentally, as we are all trying to find our balance between the two extremes of where we're being taken at those two levels at the moment. For someone like myself, who's driven by balance, it can be quite an interesting time as you're constantly trying to strive to find that inner balance when there's a lot going on around you. I mean, we had a family dinner last night, and everyone was reflecting actually on different things that were going on in their lives and how so much seemed to be happening for people. And then we had a fire in our kitchen, and it was just like this most bizarre event that just happened, where we had a fire that we all had to deal with. And that felt quite chaotic and interesting to deal with at the time. But it's all good. It's all fine. It's all sorted out. So this energy, this is very much what the energy feels like to me for the coming week. And so you may experience a lot of drama in your own life this week, or you may also find that there's a lot of drama happening around you. So not necessarily involving you, but other people are going through a lot of dramatic things as this energy sort of really embodies itself within us. There may also be a heightened awareness that surfaces around events in the world that, you may become more drawn to notice and pay attention to what is going on in the world. And this is because this week is a 6 archetypal week in a 9 month. And so the 9 archetype guides us really to reflect on global issues and world affairs. So our attention's drawn out to that. So therefore you might take more notice or pay more attention to what's going on in the world, and then find your own way to navigate through your own feelings and thoughts as to how that affects you in some way. So for someone like myself, I don't really pay a lot of attention to world affairs, but may find this week that you are more drawn to notice that. And that's because there's a lot shifting in the collective at the moment. And so when these things affect us at a personal level, we need to actually, connect with them more and pay attention to them and see what it brings up for us at a personal level. The 6th archetype really brings your attention to family and children and domestic matters as well. So you may also find that you are enmeshed in situations in the home that may need to be addressed, things that have been bubbling under the surface that haven't been worked through maybe in the past. So this might be something that surfaces for you over the next few days as that bubbles away under the surface. But 6 also, interestingly, connected to your card, stands for justice, fairness and equality. So this may bring up, I guess, issues or situations or circumstances where you notice injustices a little bit more, where you notice those things are taking place, or where others aren't being treated fairly as well. You may notice things like that and feel more impelled to do something about that. Oh, sorry, compelled, not impelled. Also, remember that we're still moving through that 7-week karmic cycle that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. And so there's this underlying energy that's threading its way through this week as well, that is related to this karmic cycle of the teen numbers that we're working through at the moment. So this is creating underlying themes that guide you to focus on maybe young people in your life and what's happening for them at the moment, people in those teen years, that some of them are struggling quite a lot at the moment, so they need more attention. But also what you're personally holding on to from your own teenage years, that's likely to surface if you're open to exploring that and focusing on that on some way. So that's kind of the numerology for the week. Feels really intense in a lot of ways, but we do know always that when we experience those intense energies, it brings great healing and opportunities for us to dive into places we probably would avoid if we could. So, it's always a good thing. And the card that I drew, I felt really drawn to going to the Mother Mary deck, which isn't one that I use normally, but for some reason it popped out today, and I chose this card, which is the Our Lady of Sweet Rest, which felt really nice after reading about all these chaotic energies and being in the Akashic Records, which I'm going to go into in a moment, and working through what these energies mean for us all. It seemed to be a beautiful card to support us this week. It's almost as if it's giving you permission to take some time out and to realize that when there is a lot going on around you, that sometimes you just need to balance that out a bit with resting a little bit more and taking some time for yourself. So it kind of brings a little bit more balance into the week, I think. And it's all about letting go of guilt, letting go of not doing enough or feeling that you're not doing enough, letting go of those mind stories, and just really taking a rest and relaxing. And then so I dived into the Akashic Records this morning as well in preparation for our call today. And the message from the Akasha really seemed to align with the energies of this time. It felt very conscious. It's quite short and sweet, but it was, as the messages usually are from the Akasha, they're usually quite straight and to the point. So I was really just shown that a lot of emotional energy is shifting in the Akashic record of the collective at the moment. So those of you that are particularly sensitive to those shifts within the collective may feel this quite consciously over the next few days. You may notice that, and it may be difficult to discern the difference between what is moving in the collective and what is moving through you as well. So you may need to sit with separating those two things if you are quite connected to collective energies. It's also important to support yourself through those shifts in the best way that you can. So, you know, that might be through resting more, it might be through emotional releases, it might be through physical embodiment practices, whatever works for you, really. It's just about finding a way to support yourself through those energies. There is a wave, I was shown, a wave or a surge of energy that's moving through the Akasha at this time in the collective. And it is a time of great healing, and it will assist you to release a lot of suppressed emotional energy that you've been hanging on to. And the question really is, or the question I was given more to the point to ask yourself is, can I surrender? Can I surrender to this? Can I just allow this? Or will you meet the edges of your comfort zone and struggle to flow with the power of that emotional release that is being almost like an invitation, really, for you to work with that? So the thing to remember here is that this wave will pass, you know, like the ocean you were talking about today, the waves always pass through, and that everything will settle down once again. So can you surrender? Surrender is the key to transitioning through, I guess, this next week in the most graceful way. But it will also offer an opportunity for you to observe within yourself where you may have a tendency to suppress your emotional energy, where you meet your most resistance around that. So a very interesting week ahead. And I'm not sure whether I'm looking forward to it or whether I can't wait to dive into it. I haven't made my mind up yet.
It's interesting when I hear both of our readings, because I just sit so comfortably in the fire of it all. And then when you bring the balance back into it, I get, you know, that there's a lot of people out there that this has that. It reminds me of when I lived right on the ocean. And for a lot of people that would come and visit me, the pounding of those waves against the surf was too much. And for me, it was just this most beautiful, almost peaceful thing. So I so hear that, you know, we all come at it from such a different place and all need different things in order to ride the waves of it.
That's it, exactly. And you know, there really is no right or wrong. It's just what's right for you.
Absolutely.
And just finding, it's always a journey of finding what is it that's right for me in this moment, so that I can transition through it in the best way. Yeah.
Thea, it seems wild to me that you and I were at the Red Centre really a short time ago, and we're sitting here now. Almost it feels like this change of seasons happened and we're sitting in this wintry weather here in Sydney. But it also reminds me of maybe just mentioning to everybody that we do have, Fiona and I, two trips that we're experiences that we're putting together at the moment to Uluru and the area all around the Uluru Katajuta National Park. One in October that we are opening very soon for anybody that wants to journey with us. And really the feeling of that trip, and I think we've sort of spoken to it a little bit here, and that is that there is no separation between you and earth, and there's such comfort to be found and wisdom to be found just from being on the earth with less distraction. It just felt like the right time to maybe put it out there for anyone who's feeling like they need that support from another source, and that, you know, the times that we're living in and have been living in have been quite hectic, and there is a lot of news that you can get really swept up into. And the beautiful thing is when you pull yourself out of that, there is this whole different layer of truth and wisdom that you can tap into and get support from.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was 2 weeks ago. Today we were out traveling out there. So it feels like it was ages ago. But yeah, I mean, the thing I think that we we kind of felt into very much on our last trip, which is, I guess, the way that we are realizing that the next trip in October is unfolding, is this connection to your heart, and how we're going through this heart expansion at the moment, and how the energies around Uluru can really support that expansion through our hearts at this time. So there'll be more, I'm sure, that we can share on that as that unfolds for us in the way that it normally does.
Beautiful. I think that's us for this week, and we will see you all next Monday for another reading.
Yeah, see you then.